All right. I'm gonna try to shine up with the full moon. All right, so I just was having some thoughts about the globe Earth and the flat Earth, and I've been in the flat Earth discussion for a good 8 years or so, something like that. It's been a while, and it's just been a long, strange trip, and there's so many different little tangents and wormholes, whatever rabbit holes I could go down right now, but I'm trying to focus on a few things. But mainly, it's like it's just it's been sort of a psychedelic, sort of like a spiritual thing that's happening with that final experiment. And as much as I don't find Duffy to be too much of a spiritual type, he doesn't seem like he doesn't really ever talk about God, and he seems like he's just sort of like going through the motions or something when it comes to his like being a pastor and being like involved with a church and reading the Bible. It doesn't seem like it's something he's passionate about, or like he doesn't strike me as being the role that he supposedly plays. But that's none of my business. It's between him and God. But I'm just saying, it's my observation of him. I'm not feeling like he's like giving any of the glory to God. I feel like he's just kind of wanting to be the guy that wins the argument, and he thinks flat Earth is stupid, and he wants to just prove it, that it's stupid, and he just finally found the obvious fucking answer to the whole thing, and it's just so funny. Like I feel stupid, honestly, but like all the same, I don't feel it's a feeling of like, okay, now I know, or like there's just I've thought about this so long and hard now. Like there's so many things that I can't. I've seen the deception, and I can go into that, for a while. But like, I was just having some weird thoughts about this. Like with the poles, we have two poles on Earth. There's two places where we get 24 hours of sun, at opposing times of year. Their summer and their summer. Where it's like, the sun makes these circles over us. That's what it looks like it's doing, and it would have to be doing something like that because it comes at us from the east and then it disappears in the west, returns, it's either going under us or around in a circle. It's one or the other, or going through a Pac-Man fucking whatever. But the thing is, we can pretty easily deduce that the sun's making laps, and so you get the impression it's like, well, it makes big laps, there's, I guess it's like the biggest lap it would make would be the 24,000 mile circumference or whatever. It's 24 hours in a day. It's 1,000 miles per hour or something. But it's like, so the circles get smaller when you're going either, which, depending which direction you're going, it's going down to the South Pole. The circles get smaller, right? Because, well, based on where you're standing, you could, and then it gets down to like where they were at Union Glacier, and they were having a pretty small circle. They could follow it around, and they could see it the whole time. It's like, so the circles get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's like to the point where there's no night, and it does the same thing in the north. But like, shouldn't the pole be the place where it doesn't circle anymore? It's just there, like sitting right above you, and it's just standing still for however long, until you start. Shouldn't that be where the pole is? There should be two places on Earth where the sun just sits there above your head and just doesn't go anywhere for a while. For like, I don't know how you keep track of days at that point, but like, what I'm saying is, what the fuck? How come we never hear about that? Have you heard about that? I wish I had people that would watch me. But if you've heard about that, maybe you can set me straight, because I just feel like I should have heard about that. There should be two places on Earth where the sun just sits over your head and doesn't fucking move for like, I don't know how long, but that should be where the pole is. That just makes sense to me. If when you think about it, like a top spinning or a ball spinning, and it's got the axis being, that's where it's like, in the case where there's like a ball spinning, usually it's on the ground or whatever, but it's like, it's spinning a certain direction and there's going to be a center point, that's the axis. So, what was I saying that for? Oh, yeah. So, that's the axis. I mean, you could think of it as being a pole because it would be like a pole going through it, like when you're in your classroom and there's one on the desk or whatever, there's a pole going through the globe so you can spin it. That pole is the poles, there's a North Pole and a South Pole because it's on a pole. And so you spin that fucker, and it's going to make the sun look like it's going in a circle over you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then when you get up to the actual fucking pole and you're standing there looking up at the sun, it should just be sitting right there in one spot and not moving at all. That's how you know you're at the pole. I've never heard anybody talk about it, that being something that you do. There should be 2 places on Earth you can go where the sun doesn't fucking move. And that's so fucking cool that, like, I can't believe anybody that could be something that is known, and that if we don't ever talk about it as as a society, that's like the most insane shit ever. There should be 2 places on Earth where you can stand there and the sun just doesn't fucking move. It's right over your head and it just doesn't go anywhere. And it's there for a long time. If we live on a globe and we have poles, there's 2 poles. You think about the poles as being where the pole goes through the globe when you're in your classroom on your desk or whatever. It's got a fucking globe that's hanging on a pole so you can spin it and simulate the spinning Earth. So think of the pole as being the pole that's going through it when it's spinning on the desk, the toy globe model. And so if you're on the pole, either north or south, you're standing on the pole where that's the fucking center of it all, right? So that's where the pole is. So that's just facing the sun dead on. So you just wouldn't be seeing it. You'd be seeing it spin, but it would just be in one spot. It'd be turning, but you just be in one spot looking at it. And you probably would see the sunspots in it, like just sitting there, they probably just fade out after a while or switch up. Because they wouldn't be, I guess they. So what would be happening? There should be 2 spots on Earth where you're sitting there, the sun ain't going anywhere, it's just sitting right above your head. And then we'd be able to deduce like so much from that because we could see what the sunspots are doing when the sun is just sitting there. Why don't we know this? Or why don't I know it? I mean, the globe model is brilliant. I don't think they should have known the Earth was a globe until they found the 24-hour sun, and until they knew there was 2. That's when you should have known. That's when the model should have been like, the light bulb goes over your head, like, ding, oh, that could be the answer, They shouldn't even have thought the Earth was a globe until they found the second 24-hour sun. Is that how this happened? That should be the story. The story shouldn't be, oh, the boat's over the horizon. The story should be, we found 2 spots where there's a 24-hour sun this many thousands of miles apart from each other. And we never found any other 24-hour sun anywhere else. And it kind of makes sense because of all the, the sun calc data or whatever you think. But that should have been the discovery that made people think the Earth was a globe. It shouldn't have been like, oh, Columbus sailed and then he came back to where he started or whatever, some dumb story. No, it should have been their home run, which is the fucking fact there's 2 24-hour suns, 2 poles. That's the home run. Like, why the fuck? That should be why they discovered the Earth was a globe, and they shouldn't have ever thought it was before they found that second 24-hour sun. That doesn't make any sense. And why is it up to the flat earthers to go fucking, like, clarify this shit? Or just bring it to everyone's attention? What the fuck's really going on? Why isn't anyone giving Duffy credit for having a fucking good idea? And just for, like, slapping us in the head, like, what the fuck? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go start believing in NASA or something, but, like, we got to face reality. That's pretty fucking crazy. I don't know what the sky can do, but if it's doing that, it's fucking crazy, man. It's something we got to fucking consider. Jaren's not wrong. I just didn't like how he's being such a dick to everybody. Or just whatever. I don't like how people are being a dick to him either, but it shouldn't ever turn into that. This is just a fucking exploration of reality. It shouldn't be a fight. That's retarded. Nobody needs to fight. Nobody's retarded. I'm not retarded. I mean, I'm not